You're looking at a poster in a dorm room, a magnet on someone's fridge, a print hanging in a dentist's waiting room. Van Gogh's bedroom in Arles. Blue walls, a brown-grey floor, painted in October 1888. It's the most reproduced image he ever made. What almost nobody looking at it knows is that every colour in that room is wrong. And Vincent is the one who told us so. In a letter to his brother Theo, he described the walls as pale violet. He called the floor red. Not blue, not brown. Violet and red. He wasn't guessing either. He built this room around those exact colours on purpose. So, somewhere between his brush and the wall you're looking at right now, every single choice he made quietly disappeared. And it took scientists 130 years to notice what his own letter had been saying the entire time. October 1888. Vincent had just moved in to the yellow house in Arles, the first place that was ever fully his. No landlord's furniture, no borrowed walls. He decorated the bedroom himself. Simple furniture, his own paintings hung above the bed. Everything arranged exactly how he wanted it. Then he painted the room itself. And he wasn't just documenting a space. He was trying to put a feeling on canvas. He told Theo the bright colours were meant to express absolute repose, absolute sleep. This was a man who'd spent years chasing peace he rarely found, and for once he had a room that gave it to him. So he wrote a line to his brother that explains everything that follows. The colours have to do the job here, not decoration, a function. Every wall, every chair, every tile on that floor was chosen to produce a specific emotional effect. Calm instead of chaos. Which means whatever came later, whatever changed on that canvas over the next century, it didn't just alter a picture, it broke a system he built on purpose. Here's what that system actually looked like. Pale violet walls surrounding a yellow bed and yellow chairs. Violet and yellow sit directly opposite each other on the colour wheel, which means side by side they don't clash, they intensify each other. And somehow that intensity reads as calm instead of tension. Vincent understood that relationship completely. Then a red tiled floor underneath all of it, tying the whole room together. Nothing in this painting was accidental, including the parts that look like mistakes. The rear wall tilts at a strange angle. There's no real shadow anywhere in the room. He told Theo he'd deliberately flattened the interior so it would resemble a Japanese print. And that skewed corner wasn't sloppy perspective either. The corner in the actual room really was crooked. Every element was a controlled decision built toward one goal: restfulness. Which makes what happened next almost cruel. The exact painting engineered to feel peaceful is the one people now describe as garish, even a little unhinged. Something in that machine broke. And it broke somewhere between the paint and the wall. Here's what broke it. Vincent loved two red pigments for how intense they looked on canvas: Geranium lake and Cochineal lake. Both had a flaw nobody understood yet in 1888. Exposed to light for long enough, the red in them doesn't shift or darken, it disappears. fading toward white like it was never there. Violet is just red mixed with blue. Take the red out slowly enough, and nobody notices the walls sliding from violet toward blue, one photon at a time. The red floor tiles went through the same quiet collapse, draining down into brown and grey. Vincent picked those pigments because they were the most vivid reds available to him. He had no way of knowing he was painting with a slow fuse, one that wouldn't go off in his lifetime or Theo's, one that would keep burning invisibly for over a century, until the room he built on purpose looked like a completely different room, and nobody currently standing in front of it would know the difference. For over a century, this should have been an easy case to crack. Historians had the letter sitting right there, Vincent describing pale violet walls and a red floor in his own handwriting. And they had the painting, blue walls, brown-grey floor, hanging in plain sight in museums visited by millions of people. Those two things didn't match, and almost nobody treated that as a problem. Maybe he misremembered the room. Maybe the light that day made him describe it differently than he painted it. Easy explanations, and none of them provable. Nobody had physical evidence connecting his words to the canvas. Just a letter on one side and a painting on the other, decades apart, never tested against each other. This wasn't some obscure sketch buried in a private collection either. It was the most reproduced bedroom in art history, and the mystery had been hiding in full view of everyone who ever looked at it. That's where scientists Francesca Casadio and Mark Waltham came in, working out of the Art Institute of Chicago, which had been quietly researching this exact painting since 2008. Their first move was almost embarrassingly simple. Every painting hangs inside a frame, and the frame covers a thin strip of paint along the edges that never sees light. For over 100 years, that strip had been sealed away in darkness, while the rest of the canvas sat exposed under gallery lighting, decade after decade. Casadio compared the hidden edge to the faded center. Then came the real tool, an imaging method that excites the atoms inside the paint itself and reads back exactly which pigments are physically present. No sampling, no damage, just light revealing chemistry. The pigments needed to be mineral-based to show up clearly, dense like bone instead of transparent like skin. And there it was. Red pigment, still present, just broken down by decades of light. Add that red back into what looks like blue paint today, and you get violet. Exactly the color Vincent described in his letter 130 years earlier. Vincent painted 3 versions of this bedroom, and copies now sit in Amsterdam, Chicago, and Paris. With the pigment evidence confirmed, each museum built a digital reconstruction, layer by layer, pushing the color back toward what the chemistry said used to be there. Amsterdam's version was rebuilt in 2010. Chicago's followed in 2015. Walls shifted back toward violet. The floor deepened back toward red. Suddenly, the room reads warm and settled again. The exact complementary pairing Vincent engineered on purpose, finally doing what he built it to do. But the reconstruction also exposed something harder to sit with. In the Chicago version, Vincent used green to suggest shadow on the floor, a small detail meant to sit quietly underneath the red. With the red gone, that green has nothing to balance it, so it dominates the whole floor instead, pushing the painting toward exactly the chaotic feeling he spent this entire room trying to avoid. The painting people know today isn't a faded copy of his vision. In several real ways, it's the opposite of it. So go back to that poster, that magnet, that print in the waiting room. The most reproduced bedroom in art history was never hiding anything. That's exactly why nobody caught it. It was too familiar to question. The proof existed in two separate places the entire time: a letter in an archive and a sliver of paint sealed under a frame. And neither one meant anything until somebody finally held them up against each other. The fade itself took so long that no person alive ever watched a single colour leave the canvas. Vincent told his brother the colours had to do the job here. For 130 years, we've been judging a room built for calm, using colours he never actually chose.